When something's broken, who do you call?
My T-shirt says tech support because I'm here to provide the president with technology support. And now that may seem like, well, is that a silly thing? But actually, it's a very important thing because the president will make these executive orders, which are very sensible and good for the country, but then they don't get implemented. You know, what we're doing here is one of the biggest functions of the Doge team is just making sure that the presidential executive orders are actually carried out.
Washington's been broken for decades, and Washington's fighting to stay that way. Because when things don't work, you can't find the money. The government's living in the dark ages. They have rotary phones, microfiche, retirement caves, and computer software from the 60s. And 80-year-old politicians who don't even know how to use a computer, and they don't care because they just use their iPhones to call, text, and see what their high school classmates are doing on Facebook. It's time to show a little humility and ask for a little help from the younger generation.
He's got some very brilliant young people working for him that dress much worse than him, actually.
Yeah,
they dress in just T-shirts. You wouldn't know they have 180 IQ.
Wait a minute. So he's your tech support.
No, he is.
I actually
but
literally
he's
am
much
tech
more
support.
than that. Yeah.
I actually am tech support, though. But
he gets it done. He's a leader.
Yeah.
He really is. He gets it done. I know every businessman. I know the good ones, the bad ones, the smart ones, the lucky ones. I know them. This guy's he's a brilliant guy. He's a great guy. He's got tremendous imagination and scientific imagination. This guy's somebody that really cares for the country. And I saw that very early on. I saw it really a long time ago when I got to know him. He's a very different kind of a character.
Elon's trying to unboomer the government. It's like going to your grandparents' house, throwing out their VCR and their stacks of tapes, just downloading Netflix for them. Here, Grandpa, you just hit this button here and press select. And by the way, give me your phone because you don't use all those apps. And please stop sending your social security number to Nigerians. DC insiders say, quote, this is not the same government it was a month ago. It's two billionaires with an army of whiz kids using AI to finally shine a spotlight on where our money's been going. The government's been balancing the checkbook longhand in a black ledger that no one's allowed to see. We can't have the golden age without living in the modern age.
They sign a contract in a government agency, and it has 3 months, and the guy leaves that signed the contract, and nobody else is there, and they pay the contract for 10 years.
Yeah.
So the guy is getting checks for years and years and years, and he's telling his family, obviously, maybe it was crooked, maybe he paid to get the contract, or maybe he paid that they didn't terminate it. But, you know, we have contracts that go forever, and they've been going for years, and they're supposed to end in 3 months or 5 months or 2 years or something, and they go forever. So the guy is either crooked, you know, where he knew this was going to happen, or he's crooked because he's getting payments that he knows he shouldn't be getting. But they're finding things like that. They're finding things far worse than that.
Doge found a $26 million contract to help Guatemala go green. Guatemala is already green. Half the country's rainforest. There's not a lot of Chevy Suburbans down there. You know how people get around? They walk. Nothing greener than walking. Another contract, $73 million to decarbonize Africa. Africa hasn't even been carbonized. How do you decarbonize something that's never been carbonized? We can't even build electric car charging stations here. We're going to build them in Africa? $83 million to help Nigeria transition to low-carbon electricity. Windmills in Nigeria. Awesome. $3.5 million for DEI scholarships in Burma. Isn't everyone in Burma DEI? You know what diversity is in Burma? White. Did we give white scholarships in Burma? Maybe they were really good at squash. Doge has a big old magnifying glass and is finding out everything. And when you boil it down, it's just a math problem. If the numbers don't add up, it's out.
Are you definitively getting rid of the penny?
Brett, I've got to say that President Trump wants to make the penny extinct, and that's part of the cost savings. It costs about 3 cents to make 1 cent, and even in Washington, that math doesn't work.
It costs 3 cents to make 1 cent, and we've been minting pennies for decades. No one else thought it was stupid until Trump. Well, was the penny lobby too powerful? Big Copper got the Senate drunk and took him pheasant hunting. Doge found 4.5 million active credit cards in the hands of government bureaucrats. And last year, they racked up $40 billion in charges. They probably just paid the monthly minimums, too, and got wrecked by interest. The government has twice as many credit cards as federal employees. So Doge is cutting up the credit cards, and Democrats are calling that Fort Sumter.
I'm very reluctant to, engage in too much hyperbole here, but I think this is increasingly becoming the most serious moment since the Civil War. I just think it's a miracle that we've lasted as long as we have.
Big balls, looking at your balance sheet isn't Gettysburg. Are Democrats going to secede from the Union again? We already have rebels yelling.
More funding, not less. End research funding theft. More funding, not less.
Hey, hey, RFK, hands off the FTA. Hey, hey, RFK, we remember JFK. Fascism is a virus too, and the people who are out here fighting in sub-freezing temperatures, they are the antibodies. We are the antibodies. And my friends, a rally a day keeps the fascists away.
I thought Democrats didn't believe in antibodies. Had to get the shot anyway, even if you just had the Rona. And if having a balanced budget's fascist, that makes Bill Clinton Mussolini. Schumer said he's never seen Democrats so aroused, and I believe him.
Elon, if you're watching, come through, boo, because you haven't shown up to the Doge subcommittee yet.
So now Trump has two daddies, Putin and Elon Musk.
I can remember back in the day of Obamacare, Republicans were saying, do you want Barack Obama and George Soros to have access to your medical records? Yeah. And it led to Republicans losing their minds over and over and over and over again. Yeah. And now it's like, yes, please, Daddy, spank me harder.
Doge is dishing out spankings like daddy daycare. The Pentagon's being ordered to slash 8% of their budget. Shouldn't be that hard. They lost $6 billion in Ukraine, so when the war ends, we can go find it. I'm sure it'll all still be there. 6,000 IRS agents are getting doged Thursday. That'll unite Republicans and Democrats. Don Jr. just high-fived Hunter, and then he washed his hands. But bureaucrats are lawyering up.
I think it's so important for American people to understand what's happening. Their government, their watchdog agencies, the people who go to work every day to fight for them are being fired illegally in what is just a wholesale dismantling of entire agencies.
So what can you do now? Can you do anything now? Are you going to do anything now?
Of course. My colleagues and I are fighting back. Our union is already in court. They've brought a couple of cases that I think we'll see action in the next few weeks. And, all I can say is that Elon Musk and the president picked the wrong bunch of lawyers to mess with.
That sounded like a threat. Nothing scarier than a white lady with a lawyer. Did you know Biden went to court and argued he had the right to fire everybody he wanted to in the federal government? Trump's firing folks using precedent from Biden. Trump doesn't just walk into a shop and pay full price. He haggles. All he's doing is bargain hunting. And the bargain's not for him, it's for you.
In order to save taxpayer money, it comes down to two things: competence and caring. And when the president was shown the outrageous bill for the new Air Force One, and then negotiated it down, if the president had not applied competence and caring, the price would have been 50% higher, literally 50% higher. The president cared, the president was competent, the price was not 50% higher as a result. And so when you add more competence and caring, you get a better deal for the American people.
Democrats claim they're compassionate. What's compassionate about debt? What's compassionate about kickbacks? We gave Congress the power of the purse, and they're getting robbed blind. And no one's ever called the cops. It's because it's not their money. It's yours. They don't care about your money, but we do.
You people still don't get it. You don't get it. I voted for Donald Trump, black Trump supporter, voted for Donald Trump to do what he's doing. Did you expect Donald Trump to do this? Not all this? Oh, it feels so good. That's how I feel. Do you like Elon Musk? Yes. Well, yes. Yes, I do. I'm watching Democrats tell me, I thought Republicans like small government. Well, that didn't work, so we need Elon. That's why we got Elon. To help shrink it.
What Democrats don't get is Doge is democracy. It's what we voted for. But it gets even better. Get ready for some Doge dividends.
There's even under consideration a new concept where we give 20% of the Doge savings to American citizens and 20% goes to paying down debt, because the numbers are incredible, Elon. So many billions of dollars, billions, hundreds of billions, and we're thinking about giving 20% back to the American citizens and 20% down to pay back debt and pay down debt.